Hello everyone, my name is Maria Alonso from your Social Deviance class, Mondays and Wednesdays, 9:30 to 10:45 with Professor Shaw. Today I will be discussing Chapter 1. More specifically, my section will be Deviance as a Voluntary Act. During this reading, I discovered there is two main perspectives. The first one we have is a constructionist perspective. It believes that deviant behavior is a voluntary act, an expression of human volition, will, or choice. The second one would be your positivist perspective. This one claims that the human being is more of a robot, a senseless and purposeless machine simply reacting to everything in its environment. During the reading, I was able to understand that constructionists emphasize that since human beings possess free will and choice-making ability, they determine their own behavior. That means that they tend to analyze the social control agencies to see how they define some people as deviant and carry out the sanctions against them. The analysis often reveals the arbitrariness of official action, the bias in the administration of law, and unjustness of controlling deviance. All these convey strongly that the control agents, since they are in position of power, they tend to exercise their free will by actively, intentionally, and purposefully controlling the deviants. Constructionists also analyze people labeled as deviant. Deviants are not presented as if they are robots. They are more passively or senselessly, rather as actively seeking positive meanings in their deviant activities. An example of such is constructionist Jack Cast. He did an analysis on murderers and robbers. The first one of his analysis on murderers determined that they feel they are morally superior to their victims. The killing gives them a self-righteousness feelings of defending their own dignity. The robbers, as another example of this analysis, they also feel morally superior to their victims, and they regard their victims as fools or suckers who deserve to be robbed. A summary of all this would be the constructionist perspective consists of simply just three assumptions. The first one being, deviant behavior is not real in and of itself. It's basically just a label. The second one, supposedly deviant behavior is a subject and should be studied with subjectivity and empathy. And the third, deviant behavior is a voluntary self-willed act rather than one caused by the forces in the internal and external environments.
According to the positivist perspective, deviance is determined or caused by forces beyond the individual's control. When positivist sociologists follow natural scientists, they adapt the deterministic behavior and apply it to human behavior. Early sociologists argued that humans do not have any free will. The reason is that acknowledgement of free will would contradict the scientific principle of determination. Today, positivist sociologists assume that humans do possess free will, although they allow for humans' freedom or choice. Positivist sociologists do not use it to explain why people behave in a certain way. Positivist perspective on deviant behavior consists of three assumptions. 1. Deviance is absolutely real. 2. Deviance is an observable object. And 3. Deviance is determined by forces beyond the individual's control.
Hi, my name is Ashley Alvarenga, and I'll be presenting Chapter 1, Textbook 1, Part 2 Summary. Deviance is determined behavior by an individual. There are three types of views on deviance. Subjectivism views deviance as a person committing the act is fully aware of what they are doing. So if they're going to rob a bank or commit murder, no reason that they give is justifiable. Subjectivism also likes to separate the act into two categories. So it'll be human, like all living things, and then the other half will be separated into non-humans, so like plants, inanimate objects, subjects, stuff like that. Relativism views deviance as a label. As the textbook states, if there is no label, there is no deviance being committed. And lastly, voluntarism suggests that there are no internal nor external factors from the environment that are influencing the person committing the act's decision. So there's no one out there or anything that can say, hey, what you're doing is right, or hey, what you're doing is wrong. It's kind of like they're doing it on their own free will. In this chapter, we learned that crime and deviance have a way of overlapping each other. A lot of the times people confuse them. At times they do kind of mean the same things, but it depends on how it's being used. So the reason why people get them confused is because some form of law or act is being broken or done. However, crimes involve law breaking, whereas deviance is a form of act being committed out of the social norm. So if you're gonna go binge drinking, or if you're gonna go skinny dipping in broad daylight in front of everyone, stuff like that is out of the norm. And that concludes our presentation.